Hi my loves, welcome to my channel. My name is Ari and I'm super excited to have you here for our February reading wrap up. So without wasting any more time, let's just go ahead and get into it. So like I said, this is February's reading wrap up, and I have 5 books that I read in the month of February. The month of February for me was a little bit weird because I was reading everything and reading nothing at the same time, if that makes sense. I was in a very weird reading mood, which I feel like I was kind of looking for books to satisfy a mood. I didn't know what it was. So I was kind of dipping my toes in every book I could find, trying to satisfy a reading craving that I really didn't know what I was craving. So I read everything and nothing at the same time, but I did manage to finish these 5 books, and honestly I'm really happy, and I'm really excited to share them with you. I'm gonna go ahead and just start off with my DNF. I did DNF a book in the month of February. I sure did, and honestly I would do it again because this book just did not do it for me. This is The Unwanted Wife by Elle Steele. It's the first book in the Davenport series, and honestly, nothing really, it was not my vibe. And it has all the tropes that honestly I normally do love, but I'm gonna tell you why I DNF'd it, obviously. But this is Skylar and Nathan's story. She is a baker struggling to keep her bakery open. Obviously her business is kind of it's just not doing all that great. And then along comes Nathan, who so happens to be her brother's best friend, who is also ex-military, has PTSD, turned CEO, so he's all broody and whatnot, right? She is super bubbly and all sunshine and rainbows. Obviously, you know, she's really going through it because she's trying to keep her bakery and her business going, and she's really struggling. But then of course Nathan comes along and he's offering her to save her bakery in the exchange of marriage. So it's a marriage of convenience on both ends, because if he marries someone, he will become CEO of his grandfather's company, and then she gets to save her bakery. But I normally, like I said, I normally would love these tropes. These tropes get me every time. It's he falls first. He's obsessive, possessive, forced proximity, opposites attract, marriage to convenience, brother's best friend. All these tropes normally do it for me, including the primal play that was supposed to be seen in this book. Now you're probably wondering, okay, well, that all sounds great. Well, yeah, like I said, all these tropes normally scratch my itch, right? But not in this one, because I feel like it was done all completely wrong in my opinion. And I feel like DNFing it at 50% gives me, I feel like I gave it a fair chance to get better, because I was gonna DNF it. I think it was either 10 or 15%. And I was like, honestly, I was not planning to get to 50% of the book, but I was trying to give it a fair chance to maybe get better, but it did not. First of all, this was supposed to be like a hate to love relationship. Obviously he's her brother's best friend, so they've known each other for years. I mean, since she was a teenager, since she was younger. Obviously he is older, but they've known each other for a really long time. When she turned 18, obviously she made a proposal to him. He didn't want it, whatever. He said no. He basically rejected her, and she was like, okay, well, fine, now I hate you. So she kind of, you know, tried to move on with her life. She didn't really care for him, avoided him as much as she could. Throughout, obviously they continued to see each other because he's best friends with her brother. So throughout their life, continuing into adulthood, they continue to see each other, obviously occasionally. She tries to, you know, avoid him at all costs. But then one day, obviously she's struggling with her business, he's trying to become CEO, and it pops the proposal of a marriage of convenience. She does accept it. He claims to have always been in love with her, which, okay, yeah, maybe I do believe, you know, but he obviously didn't want to ruin the relationship that he had with her brother, and also because she was a lot younger, you know, he didn't want to be the person to like ruin that relationship, which I understand in that sense. But he was so hot and cold, and I understand the broody part, whatever, but I felt like at points he kept leading her on, and then he would like retract, and then it felt unfair to her, in my opinion. It just didn't feel genuine, because it felt, honestly, it felt forced and it felt rushed, because in my opinion, I would have preferred for them to obviously do the proposal of the marriage of convenience, which is great and all, but I think they could have given it a little bit more time to build up into the marriage, to where I'm kind of thinking something along the lines of like, obviously he proposes to, you know, the marriage of convenience, and even though she accepts, like, I would have liked there to be still some banter and some yearning on both ends, obviously, you know, have some plot in between before they got to the marriage part. But in this case, that's not at all what happened. They got married within like 2 weeks, which in sense of the plot, it makes sense, because obviously he wants to become CEO as quickly as possible, so he's like rushing everything, and obviously she's trying to save her business. So in sense of like the actual plot that was going on in the book, it makes sense. But when it comes to a romance and you have two characters that have yearned for each other for so long, and you don't give them the chance to yearn for each other, it feels forced and it feels rushed, and I didn't like that, because again, they get married so quickly, and immediately, like, it feels like there's no chemistry. It automatically goes into the whole primal play, and I was like, wait. as soon as they enter his house, like, it's after the wedding, it's straight to the primal play, and I was like, you're not gonna give him a chance to like have some banter, something, you know what I mean, some yearning, prolong it a little bit longer. Like, it just felt so rushed, and I was just not vibing with it. At this point, I'm getting to the 50% though, and this is where I DNF it, because the primal play, in my opinion, was not done correctly. Now, I would have liked to have some if it was going to be a primal play, like, I would have liked for it to be similar to what you see in Rena Kent's books, or even what you see in Haunting Adeline, where it's like there's actual chase, there's actual primal play, like there's actual chase and like build up into the actual spicy scene. But in this case, like, he was like, when I tell you to run, you run. And immediately, like, she's like, bet. And I was like, oh my God, okay, at least I'm getting something here. But then she runs up the stairs, and immediately she's like, wait, like, oh my God, like, oh, I'm getting chased, like, you know. And then she runs back down the stairs to where he's at. And that's where the book lost me, because I was like, wait, you made her run up the stairs. You didn't even give the man a chance to chase when she's already coming back to him. I was like, wait a minute, you can't tell me that's nowhere did I didn't see the obsessive possessive. I didn't see any true primal play. I didn't see like he falls first. I just didn't. And maybe 50% is not enough to see it, but honestly, it felt rushed. It felt fake. It didn't feel genuine. It didn't feel like there was actual chemistry between the two. Like, it just, I don't know. I didn't feel it, and I didn't like it, and I DNF'd it at 50%. That's just my opinion. Not my thing. So yeah, that was The Unwanted Wife. Again, not my vibe. I DNF'd it. Personally, I wouldn't recommend it, but if you guys still want to go ahead and read it, please, by all means, go ahead and read it. Don't let my opinion, keep you from reading a book that you might enjoy, that you might actually like. Personally, for me, it was just not it. But again, I'm not gonna tell you not to read it. You might enjoy it, you might like it. Me personally, it was just a no for me. But then, this is in no reading order, by the way, because again, like I said, I was basically jumping from one book to another. Like, I was reading a few chapters of one book and then jumping into another, and then I was just rotating around, to be honest. So there's no particular order to these at all. So yeah. The next book that I finished was Face Off by Chelsea Curto. Now, Face Off by Chelsea Curto is honestly a 5-star read. Definitely a 5-star read, without a single doubt in my mind. That book, I knew I was gonna rate a 5-star even before I read the ending. Now, this is a hockey romance. It's enemies to lovers, and she is also an athlete. She is also a hockey player, and he is just a golden retriever. It's like golden retriever black cat type vibe, which I love, because she's kind of like the broody one. She's kind of like the one that, like, gives him shit. So, like, honestly, like, that for me was like so refreshing to see, because I was like, oh my God, that just made it 10 times better. But it was so good. The FMC, like, I absolutely love her. Not only is she an athlete, but she's so, like, witty. She's so funny, and also she's so kind-hearted, and just, it takes her a lot to become vulnerable, but she honestly, she is such a vibe. I really, really like her. I really, really enjoyed reading her. And don't even get me started on the spice, because you guys, that woman can walk that man like a dog, okay? She walked that man like a dog, got that man on his knees, got that man begging, had that man, like, literally doing the most for her, and I love that for her, okay? Literally, she was out there just calling him a good boy, and he was living for it. Okay, like when I tell you guys this book, it was so freaking good. I cannot even tell you guys how much I really, really love this book. Like, it was so freaking good. And Maverick, the MMC, stop. He was just so golden retriever vibe that I really, really enjoyed his character so much. I never, though, have come across a book where I enjoy the FMC more than the MMC. But in this case, I did. But that does not mean I did not enjoy Maverick, the MMC, because honestly, he was just top. He brought out a side of the FMC that was just so, that it was just so good. Like, he really knew how to bring out her soft side, her feminine side, and make her laugh. Like, that was his main goal, was to like make her laugh, make her happy. Like, honestly, it was just so it was so good. And honestly, the fact that he enjoyed like her dominance was insane to me. I feel like their chemistry was perfect. They honestly really did make the chemistry between those two characters so freaking good. Emmy, which is the FMC, she just, honestly, like, their Maverick and Emmy were written for each other. In this book, in this case, yes. Like, this was a hockey romance that honestly just made me like so happy to read. Like 1,000%. Immediate 5-star. For me personally, yes, the chemistry was there. It was a true enemies to lovers, in my opinion. She was broody in this case. He's such a golden retriever. It was just so, it was so freaking good. You guys don't even know. But this one, absolutely recommend. This one you guys have to read. This is an absolute immediate 5-star read. You guys, it's a must. It's a must. And I think that what I loved the most about it also was the ending. It wasn't like an automatic, now we're gonna go get married and like live the happiest of lives. They still get their happy ending, but it's a more realistic happy ending, because of course they're still both athletes, and there's still so much more that they have to like go through life individually. Obviously, they both still have careers that they want to explore more and grow in. And I'm so sorry. I loved how the author kept that, like, that reality in the book, because that just made it all that more like special, in my opinion. So for me, again, absolute 5-star read. So get to it, babes, because how could you not? How could you not? You know what I mean? Like, absolutely go read it, because you're not gonna regret it. The next one is Take the Risk by Bree Hayden. Now, this was actually an arc. This was my very first arc also. How exciting. I have never felt so special in my life. And honestly, I'm super, super grateful for Bree Hayden noticing my little old me to be, you know, to be an arc reader for her. Like, how precious is that? Like, honestly, I'm obsessed. I loved it. This is also a this is also a hockey romance, but it is second chance romance and forced proximity, brother's best friend, and I loved it. Okay, this was a 4-star for me. Was it 4-star or 4.5? I'm pretty sure. Sorry guys, I know I have it here. I'm pretty sure it was a 4-star read. Yes, it was a 4-star read. I absolutely loved it. I absolutely loved it. I will say there was some parts in the spice that I was just a little bit like, not my vibe. But other than that, the chemistry was there. I absolutely loved that the two characters, both the MMC and the FMC, honestly, they had such a great such great individual growth. Because so this is considered second chance, because in the beginning, I don't want to spoil it too much, but in the beginning, it is already out, by the way. So if you guys want to go ahead and pick it up, you guys are more than welcome to. Definitely recommend it. But like I was saying, I don't want to like spoil it too much, but they were in a relationship when they were kids. And she, well, the MMC pretty much messed it up. He was so in love with her. You can't really blame him, because he was really in love with her. And they were just kids, you know. It was someone that was there for him and all that stuff, and he was there for her, and they grew such a big bond for each other. And she kind of felt like he was, you know, she felt like she didn't have a voice. Her opinion didn't matter, and that she kind of felt love bombed in a way, you know, and which is understandable at that age. You know, they're kids, like what, you know, like what do you know? But as adults, he recognizes that what he did obviously was probably not the best way to handle the relationship, and probably just didn't give her the place that she deserved in the relationship. And he recognizes that. He becomes a better person because of it. And I think that the personal growth in that sense just makes that relationship 10 times better. And also for the FMC, I mean, she really becomes understanding of the feelings that he was having at the time when they were younger. And she understands that, you know, he's not the same person that he was back then. And, you know, she also has her own struggles with, you know, he is the hockey player, she's a screenwriter, and obviously there's a lot of individual growth, but their chemistry in general is just it's so cute. They write like little love letters to each other, and they build up to a relationship in a way that's just so like easy for themselves and for each other. And it's so cute, and it's just like it just makes you swoony, you know, like it just makes you all like giddy and happy for them both. And honestly, that was just so good. And I really enjoyed this arc, honestly. Like I would 100% recommend it. So if it, like I said, it is out. If you guys want to go ahead and pick it up, you guys are more than welcome to go ahead and do it. I totally recommend you guys checking out Bree Hayden. She is an amazing author, and I really hope that you guys enjoy it and you guys do read the book. But moving on, I found this book after The Unwanted Wife, because again, it left me wanting what I actually was going for. And that is when I found Pray Tell by Amanda Richardson. Now, this book is exactly what I wanted out of The Unwanted Wife. Pray Tell is also a marriage of convenience. It has primal play. It is, it's just nothing. It gave me everything that I was expecting out of The Unwanted Wife. So you have it there. Okay, honestly, absolutely 10 out of 10, would recommend. This one was just so good, and I could not even like tell you how great this one was. Like, it fulfilled that craving. It literally scratched that itch. You know what I mean? Like, it literally scratched that itch, and like I couldn't have found a better book to scratch that itch with, because it was so freaking good. The chemistry was there. I didn't get love bombed and rushed and faked, and it was perfect. Like, this was a 4-star. I didn't give it 5 stars, but it was 4 stars. And honestly, like, yeah, like I feel like for the most part, this book just scratched that itch, and it was easy to read. It was fast. Like, I wasn't, struggling through it. Like, it was an easy read. It was exactly what I needed at the time. What more do I want from a book? You know what I mean? So this one was, Pray Tell, was definitely a 4-star read for me, but that, oof, amazing. 10 out of 10 on that. Now for the last book. This last book, amazing. 10 out of 10. This personally for me was not only a 5-star read, but I will immediately add it to my God tier books of this year. And that is Binding 13 by Chloe Walsh. Now, Binding 13, if you guys have not read this series, you guys have to read it, but please check your triggers on this one. This is not your typical romance. This is very emotional, okay? I was crying from the very first chapter. This book was so emotional. I was crying from the very first chapter, and I would read it again because I loved it so much. You guys have no idea. Like, it was just, it was so good. It was so good that I can't even put into words how freaking good this book is. It follows the story of Shannon and Joey. This is the first book in the Boys Atonement series. And Shannon lives a life that is in no way like a life that I wish upon anyone. Especially as a child. She's, I believe in this book, in Binding 13, she is 13 to 14 years old, or 15. I think it's 14 and 15, if I'm not wrong. 14, I think. 13, 14, 15. One of those. I can't remember exactly, but she's very young. Not only is she being bullied in school, she's been bullied her whole life. And she also lives a life at home that is so heartbreaking. She lives in an abusive home. Which is very tough to read. The father, if you can even call him that, is a total piece of shit. And I will say that with a full chest. Absolutely piece of shit. So this book is definitely very emotionally just devastating, honestly. It's so heartbreaking in my opinion. And Johnny lives such an opposite life to her. Obviously he has his own struggles. He is He is a rugby player who's, you know, going through a injury that is basically putting his lifelong dream to become a professional rugby player on the line. He doesn't want to give that dream up. He's worked his entire life for that. It's all he wants. But obviously he has his own struggles. But then Shannon comes along and totally shifts his life around. Obviously he's still worried about his own, you know, struggles and all of that, but he becomes more worried about Shannon, and understandably why. Obviously she's going through so much, but he doesn't know exactly what it is that's going on with her. He knows something's troubling her. He knows obviously that, you know, she's going through maybe bullying and stuff like that, but he doesn't realize that it goes beyond the bullying at school. He thinks that, you know, okay, it's just bullying at school. I can protect her from that. I will do anything in my power to protect her, to not have her be bullied. And he manages that in his own way. He really does. But her life at home is nothing like what he would have ever thought. And in that process, they also fall in love. They start to fall in love. And it's a relationship that's just so... I can't even think about it without wanting to cry, because it's just... it's just so beautiful. Honestly, their relationship is just so cute and so beautiful that I don't want to go too much into it, because I want to make a separate video just on this series. But it is so good, you guys. Honestly, 10 out of 10 would recommend. I would automatically, if you ever ask me what is a book that I would recommend, it would be this one. It would be to start the Boys of Tobin series, because there is no way you'll ever regret it. Will you cry probably reading the entire book? Yes, absolutely. From beginning to end, you probably will be shedding tears and ripping your heart out. But is it worth it? 100%. I would never recommend a book that you're not gonna get your heart ripped out for. Bye. Like, literally. Do I want you to get your heart ripped out? In this case, yes. Do you want to feel something? Do you want to, like, literally cry your eyeballs out? Do you want to feel your heart just, oh my God, just getting ripped out of your chest? If the answer is no, then move along. Get out of here. Because, come on. You know what I mean? Like, please. Absolutely. This automatically, yes. Like, there's no way. I already finished the second book. I'm on the third book of the Boys of Tobin series. So that lets you know that I'm invested. Okay, I am absolutely invested, and I couldn't be more invested. Because this series has top tier. I think this is definitely like the best series I've read all year so far, hands down. So with all that being said, if you guys want to read any of the books that I went ahead and talked about today, please go ahead and do so. Don't let my opinion and my ratings take you guys away from reading the books, because honestly, they might not have been absolute 5 stars. Like, not all of them might have been like 5 stars for me, but who knows? You might rate them a 5-star read. You might really enjoy them. So don't let my rating and my opinion drift you away from reading the books. I still think books should be read, and I think everybody has their own likes and dislikes. So again, they might not have been for me, but they might be for you. So with that being said, happy reading, my friends, and I hope you guys had a great month of February full of love and joy. and lots and lots of reading. So I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.